Headphones are a part of our everyday lives, so ingrained into society that it's often assumed that when you talk about listening to music, that you'll probably be using a pair of headphones or earphones. And while many do still prefer to listen to speakers if given the choice, the convenience and privacy of headphones makes them a staple in our everyday lives that we sometimes take for granted. But this wasn't always the case. In fact, headphones were around for over half a century before they became recognized by the general public as a way to enjoy music at home. But that all changed thanks to John C. Koss and the Koss SP3 stereophones. Headphones got their start in the 1880s as a tool for telephone switchboard operators. Rather than holding the telephone receiver, they developed a system to mount the receiver on their head so that their hands would be free to make connections, turning the telephone into a headphone. Over the next couple of decades, more innovations were made to the head-mounted telephone. One company, Electrophone, would let subscribers phone in and listen to a live opera, while using a specially designed receiver that had two earpieces. This device wasn't worn on the head, but it did show signs of the innovations to come. At around 1910, head-mounted receivers for telephones and wireless communication with two earpieces became more common. This is when they started to be referred to as headphones. They ended up having a lot of use in the Navy as well as for wireless communication. Headphones became a valuable tool, and for the next few decades, most of their use was delegated to communication and professional applications. Jumping ahead to 1957 and 1958, the home audio market was witnessing a huge innovation: LPs that allowed stereo playback, and manufacturers of audio devices were in a race to release turntables that supported this format. Prior to this, music played from records would be in mono. Both ears would hear exactly the same thing, as there was only a single channel in the recording. It was during this time that John C. Koss worked to develop the portable phonograph with stereo speakers and something unique: a privacy switch that would allow you to plug in a pair of headphones and listen without requiring to use the speakers. The problem, though, was he couldn't find any headphones that would play in stereo. All the headphones that they came across were either meant for military use or for communication. So along with the phonograph, they also built a pair of headphones to showcase the new privacy feature, which became the Koss SP3 stereophone. The SP3 was built using materials that they had access to, a pair of small speakers, and even some unconventional materials such as cardboard and foam from a sofa cushion. But the end result was effective. The Koss stereophone was meant to be an accessory to the portable phonograph, but when the unit was presented at an audio show, the SP3 became the standout piece of the show. People who heard it loved it, and Koss knew that he had something that would change the world. And thus, a campaign was started to show the world that headphones can be used for listening to music at home and in stereo. The original SP3 model was effective, but Koss knew that there were areas that it could be improved in. And in 1960, a newly revised SP3X was released. The new model had a redesigned headband with padding for comfort, and later models of the SP3X had vinyl-covered ear pads so that they could be easily cleaned. And each model came with an adapter to install a headphone jack on your listening device, as this wasn't a standard yet. The headphones were the first part, but how do you sell a product that nobody has experience with? Koss knew that more had to be done than just advertising with pictures of headphones in a magazine. Listening demos were an obvious choice, as you had to hear them to believe it. But along with that, Koss was able to market the headphones with celebrity endorsements. This was something that we've come to expect nowadays. Think of modern brands that have blown up due to celebrity and influencer marketing. Well, Koss was able to do something similar, but back in the 60s when this was less common. The innovations of the SP3, along with the marketing genius of Koss, was able to take the audio world by storm. And soon, other companies started to make their own stereo headphones. Soon, headphones became a staple in home and portable listening. Koss kept innovating since then, with developments such as the ESP6, Pro 4AA, HV1A, and even the PortaPro, which were introduced in 1984, but are still regarded as one of the best budget headphones you can buy now. Much of the headphone market can be linked back to the original SP3 and the marketing of Koss. But how did they sound? Well, unfortunately, I'm unable to try the original SP3 for obvious reasons, but I do have the next best thing, which is the SP3X, which was the revised and more popular model that most people experienced. This headphone that I have is around 60 years old, but even after all this time, it still feels solid. It feels like it could last for another 60 years. The plastic pieces feel thick and durable, with the metal rod acting as a sliding mechanism, and also adding strength to the headband. Even the ear pads, while a little flattened, still hold up, and that's more to say than some headphone pads nowadays which start to flake after 1 year. The listening experience is a bit interesting as well. Remember that these headphones are 60 years old, but it still somehow sounds decent in a lo-fi way. Yes, it does lack bass and treble, but somehow the listening experience can be slightly relaxing. And it can still be immersive if you give yourself time to adjust. Yes, some of the cheapest headphones now may sound better in some ways, but I can see where, when people heard this for the first time back in the late 50s and 60s, how this would blow them away. And the SP3 was able to change the world of headphones forever. Thanks for watching this video. It's a bit different from what I normally do, but this is a video that I wanted to put out because I thought it was an interesting topic about the history of listening to headphones at home.